The very last part of 12.1 is learning how to write some of these inverse variation equations. Example 4 words it as the variables x and y vary inversely and y equals 6 when x equals 3. And A states write an inverse variation equation which relates x and y. Okay, so to do these problems, you just have to read them extremely carefully because they've given you two very important pieces of information when they introduced the problem. The first thing they told you was that this is an inverse variation equation. In other words, a rational function. And because they tell you it varies inversely. And so you know that the parent function basically is going to be y equals a over x. So that's your first clue as you're going to figure out a. It is in this form, y equals a over x. Your second clue is that they tell you y equals 6 when x equals 3. That means they're giving you the first ordered pair, right? They're telling you when x is 3, y is 6. And that is a clue that you need to be able to write that equation. Now, if you've seen the equations we've looked at, we said y equals 2 over x, or 1 over x, or 4 over x, or negative 4 over x. Because what you need to do to write the equation is you need to find a, which we said is the constant variation of variation. So your goal is to find a. Well, that is not that hard because you have everything you need, right, to find a if you just plug in 3 and 6. So if I plug in 6 for y and I plug in 3 for x, and here's a, all I need to do to find what a is I need to isolate a, and to do that I multiply both sides by 3 and I get a equals 18. And that means my equation is very simply y equals 18 divided by x. So that is going to be my my inverse variation equation. Okay, that's part A. Part B says find the value of y when x equals 4. In other words, find y when x equals 4. Well, again, you have done tons of problems just like this, right? When x is 4, what is y? Well, all you need to do is write your equation. You now know what this equation is that describes this relationship. Y equals 18 over x, and they're telling you x is 4. So 18 over 4, and you're going to reduce that. And when you reduce that, it's going to give you 9/2. Okay, one caveat, I did example 4, but I made x positive 3, not negative 3, but this is the correct answer for positive 3, so I'm not going to change it. If I had negative 3, and you'll see this in the actual example 4 in the book, you're going to get negative 9/2. But the process is correct. This is the correct equation for these parameters and the correct y for this x. I would suggest doing guided practice 5 and drawing out a parabola on your own so that you get an experience of doing it and you can really feel what this graph looks like.